All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to King of the Sea Day 6, as KSC is doing its best to take a win back from AP and prevent them from being knocked out of this tournament in one battle that's cast. So let's take a look at KSC's lineup. We've got Curve Raptor. Do you see that too?
Oh yeah, I see that.
Kerr first. We've got Dastard and a Kerr first, and in Ohio we've got a double Des Moines, double Worcester. I'm really scratching my head here, guys, but double gearing, and we have a Shima Kaze. Oh boy.
All right.
Okay, well, what do we got over on red?
Opposing them from the south, going for the win. Game point here is AP. They are fielding Conqueror Yamato, Salem already double Moskva, Vampire Deuce, Ragnar, and Polski in a Yu Yang. Now, I realize that if you're watching this on the official cast, you probably missed game one. You didn't see game one, but trust me, Zath and I got to see most of game one. And Polski is running a radar Yu Yang.
Mm-hmm.
AP seems to have been kind of employing this as a bit of an anti Ragnar, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it can work in that fashion. Of course, it's got the deep water torpedoes, which is good against cruisers. Although, as Askans was mentioning earlier, we seem to be switching the meta in preference of more destroyers. That being said, I'm kind of curious that both teams have elected to bring 3 destroyers on a 4-cap map such as this.
It is noteworthy, Zath. It flies a little bit in the face of what we saw most of the 07 games that we cashed yesterday. We saw a whole lot of 4 destroyer lineups on 3-cap maps. Now we're seeing a 3 destroyer lineup on a 4-cap map. So does anybody really know what's going on in the meta right now? I'm not sure.
Well, and you add on top of that the complexity that is Hotspot, and look at AP already bringing a hit squad to sea. All 3 destroyers they're set to murder whatever goes in to sea.
They are indeed, but have a look at Floops, Zath, coming in from the top side of the cap. He's got friends that are going to be hiding in that long duration American smoke. So this Wolfpack concept might find itself having its teeth pulled. We'll have to see how this plays out.
Well, and on top of that, you got Aussie Zeus, Luckchuck, and Torps. Floops also Luckchuck and Torps. I'm sure they know some destroyer actions coming their way with radio position, or radio location, I should say.
Well, and you'll notice AP's destroyers already kind of maybe not pushing the cap as hard, a little aggressively. They see the smoke. I think they have a suspicion of what it might mean. And yep, there's Polski under the radar now for man with an RX-7.
That's right. And that basically pushes that hit squad out. That's going to allow Floops to possibly loop back into C-Cap to try to grab it with the Des Moines escorts helping him out. No, wait, Floops is detected. Did he fire his guns?
He did fire his guns very briefly. I saw at least one gearing salvo come in from Polski. He got a little greedy there. Didn't cost him huge. He didn't lose a ton of HP, but that was a big risk.
Well, the one thing is that it tells AP what Floops' orientation was, a little bit about the, speed, all that kind of stuff. So that's intel that AP can definitely use against KSC. So I don't like opening up there, but okay. Look at the other deaths now going on the 10 line, I should say.
Now, so one thing I want to point out, Seth, you and I caught an earlier game of that AP KSC match where we caught game 3 of it. Do you remember on Land of Fire where AP attempted to blunt that early KSC push into the middle of the board with a very aggressive Venezia play in the center? You kind of get a sense here that KSC may be getting a little bit of their own back with this, again, this double Des Moines push into the middle, keeping these guys off this cap.
Well, yeah, it's in that particular game, AP was able to totally mess with KSC's plan early on. But the key was that AP did not come off with a kill.
No.
And that cost them, I think. KSC just basically went back to what they were planning on doing, and it wasn't a big deal.
Yes, yep. They were able to win that game.
So here's the big question. What happens next when the smoke goes down at C-Cap, right? You can see that Man with an RX-7 and Hataka Hiyoshi are already planning this. They're already getting ready to hit the W to get out of there if needed, but they got to stay close enough to keep Floops protected.
Well, they are both lit. Obviously, it looks like, so yep, detected on the surface by either Polsky or Akike, I think is how you'd say that. Something like that.
Sure.
Here comes some Conqueror AP from Catigrade.
That
Looking
could
for
really hurt.
RX-7, but nope. RX-7 hits the brakes. Most of those got a lead just a little too far. And Floop's now coming in with a fresh set of smoke. So KSC seems determined to kind of like they're gonna be here for the duration.
Look at Jason. Look at Jason. That fancy super heal doesn't matter when you're under the attack of 2 Woosters.
No. When you're getting farmed out by Woosters, all the super heals in the world can only do so much. And just like that, KSC picks up a ship. Up a cap here early. Only 6 minutes gone. Looking really strong for KSC to claim game 2 thus far.
Yeah, KSC obviously needs this to force a game 3, and they're coming out strong, saying we want to keep going. We're not done yet. Danny, though, under sustained fire in the Ohio now.
Well, he's the next target in line, right? I mean, no, where were we?
He's north of A.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got backwards. For some reason, I thought the Woosters, I was thinking of the Moskva. My bad.
It's all good. But that's going to allow, and you can already see the gearing and the double Wooster over on the 910 line coming into mid now. They're not going to bother chasing the Moskva. That could prove to be a fatal mistake, or could work in their favor. We'll have to see in about 10 minutes.
No, I don't think there's a lot of need for them to chase that guy right now. They've got a lead, right? They've got a 160-point lead. They're pushing Dastard. I mean, Dastard's Kerfurst is going to cap D basically by himself.
Mm-hmm.
AP seems like their play seems to be about a push kind of up the 1, 2, 3 line over here to break into A. That's why there's all this focus fire going in on Danny. They know they've got to get him off the board in order for that push to be successful.
Right. Well, the reason I'm
go ahead.
The reason I made that comment about the gearing and Woosters heading into decap now is because that there's nothing now to stop the Moskva that's kiting away to just turn back around and head north along the 10 line and get in their backfield.
Sure, so, he can. Despite being what? Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, Danny continuing to be farmed. Now we got some Yamato shells coming in on his broadside. They're a little behind. A couple still hit.
A little bit of chip damage there, but every little point counts when you're getting as low as Danny is. He's finally dark now. Right. AP loses sight of him. KSC on a 200-point lead in a really strong position. AP seems very committed to this 2-3 push. They don't really have much choice now. They've spent 8 minutes getting their ships into this position, so they've pretty much, this is the plan. Either the plan works or we're going to game 3.
Right. Now, one thing I want to comment on, too, is both Hatake Yoshi and Man with an RX-7's Des Moines purposely getting themselves detected to throw off AP, to get them to shoot at them instead of Danny. That's huge. That's allowing Danny to have some time to just flee and try to lick his wounds. Of course, that Ohio's got quick reload repair party.
Well, the other thing you're seeing them alternating that, Zath. Hatake went dark. I know Woshi's about to take some Shimakaze torpedoes. Yeah. One right in the bow after he took a double fire a minute ago. But Des Moines went dark right as Man with an RX-7 began opening fire. So they had obviously sort of planned that little change. And now both Des Moines throwing shells downrange at Woshi, trying to get him off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Woshi, is he flooding? He is flooding.
He is flooding.
He took a bow flood from that Shimakaze torp. He'd taken a double fire from the Des Moines HE that he repaired, and then now the flood is stuck for now.
That's right. Even Aussie Zeus getting in on this with his guns. There goes Danny Loves his Ohio. What do you know? The Conqueror killed it.
I'm shocked. AP does claim a big kill here, though. They needed those points to buy them some time. We're not quite halfway through with the game. Coming up on the 10-minute mark. AP finally into A. And they had ducked Polsky's Yu Yang into C, but the Wooster Pain Train is right there ready for him. He's got to be in a very uncomfortable position.
Oh, I can see all those shells coming in on now. Of course, there are some deep waters coming for I Am Coop's Wooster right now.
Those are all going to fall astern. Coop should be fine.
Yeah. And there goes Woshi's Henri.
Yep, big kill for KSC. It has cost them a lot of HP for, though. Hitake's Des Moines getting quite low. Clustered behind an island, hidden in smoke over here, way up on the top of the 4-5 line.
Now, Hitake is detected, even though he's in the smoke right now.
I wonder how. Does somebody have their radar up? Must be Euro.
Yes.
Euro's Moskva radar, perhaps?
Yes. His
Okay.
radar is up right now. But
They're trying
not much can... They're trying to arc over the island, but not much can hit him except for that Vampire Deuce.
The Vampire is finally able to get some shells over the island, but pretty much nobody else can. There's enough hard cover there. What I'm wondering is when... all of AP's ships are on the 1, 2, or 4 line, basically, with the lone exception of Shishiro's Moskva, which didn't come back up the 10 line, Zath. They've moved him to the middle of the board because Dastard's Kurfürst is continuing to lurk in the backfield over just now leaving the decap.
And that's very smart for KSC to keep Dastard there. You have to hold that Moskva in check should that Moskva have turned around gone up the 10 line. So I do like that play.
Yeah, they're basically using him to just kind of make sure the back door stays closed.
That's right.
KSC trading really well. Technically, they're down a little on HP, but it feels like they've kept some ships on the board that maybe AP should have gotten. And Aussie's Shimakaze is just continuing to wreak havoc over here with his position way up in the corner of the map. In fact, I think they've finally decided, they're sending the Vampire and Quincy's Ragnar to run him down as Aussie now opens up with his guns on Caddy's Conqueror.
Yeah, I wonder why they did
HP.
But yeah, so as you were talking about the relatively even matchup in terms of ships and health, the one big thing, of course, I think is board position. KSC definitely has a stronger board position right now.
Absolutely.
With their Death Snail in the sea cap. Now I'm saying that as more deep water torpedoes are coming right for Coop.
And Euro's Moskva is not going to be able to duck away from these 20-kilometer Shimakaze torps that weren't even meant for him. He's going to take one in the bow. Those were meant for Caddy's Conqueror, who's actually going to take gearing torpedoes right in the stern and one in the bow. So 2 big torpedo hits on Caddy's Conqueror as well.
That's right.
KSC's doing great work. Go ahead.
Caddy's flooding, by the way. That's going to force him to back off quite a bit.
KSC doing great work with their destroyers. Aussie now trapped up against the top of the map. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Caddy's going to go down. He's going to flood out. There he goes.
They do flood out the Conqueror as the Vampire Deuce and the Ragnar are going to double team Aussie's Shimakaze here, but it's not. I mean, Aussie's had a very impactful game from this position.
I mean, Aussie's just happy seeing those 2 guys shooting at him, chasing him, because that takes 2 destroyer players out of the game.
Yeah, look how far out of position they are. His team is over 800 points. He's fine with that trade.
Shadow, though, really low in the Worcester. He got himself detected somehow. Must have been radar from Euro.
Yep, there he goes.
And there he goes.
Euro taking some pain now in the form of Des Moines AP from Hitake, as well as the Worcester pain train. And there he goes.
That's what they needed. They needed to respond with that.
Well, KSC just trading kills, and right now, up a ship, they can afford that.
Right. Here comes Polsky in the scene. Now, remember, Polsky probably radar based off the first game we caught.
He is. I watched him use it earlier, so he is definitely radar. He's putting this island in between him and the Worcester as he puts his deep waters out for Dastard. Kind of a Hail Mary there, but it would be... Yep, he's got his radar up now. Serpent Lord spotted now for KSC. Who do they have that can shoot at him?
The Yamato?
The Yamato, Shishiro. That's really about it.
Yeah.
That's really about it, right? The Vampire and the Ragnar are so far out of position, it's going to take them at least 90 seconds to get back into where they're relevant, and lots can happen in 90 seconds.
Speaking of 90 seconds, take a look at that Yamato. Christo saying, I don't want any of this, turning broadside to a whole bunch of gearing torpedoes.
He's going to regret that particular maneuvering decision here in just a moment. He's got a Kurfürst salvo coming in. Doesn't do very much, but he's going to take about three of these gearing torps, 2 on the belt and 1 in the stern. That's a pretty solid hit.
Forces the DCP, so another couple fires and he's gone. Oh wait, there's more torpedoes coming. What do you know?
Indeed. He's kind of pinned between the two gearings here. I think the northern set is what's going to do him in, Zath.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to take 2 more there. Yep.
Let's take a look at the other fight that's going on. That's the 2 destroyers that finally caught up with the Death Snail.
Polsky's also under threat in C. Looking really strong for AP here, Zath. They're up over 900. Sorry, KSC. They're up over 900 points. There goes Hatake.
That was expected.
Can they get Quincy in exchange? They do. So again, they get the trade, and that's as long as they continue to trade, they're okay. Up another ship now, pretty much all over. The only 2 surviving AP ships left on the board, nowhere near a cap circle. KSC's going to lock this up in a few seconds.
Oh, absolutely. I'm already getting ready for my death pick.
Yep. So KSC, just like the first time between these 2 meetings, KSC's map pick, they're able to win and force a game 3. As we'll be heading to Warriors' path for that game 3. We'll have to see, can AP avoid the repeat of last time, or can they win game 3 and move on to the 3rd place match? Not sure. Have to see. It'll be fun to watch.
That's right. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be good. And there's our
death pick. It's going to be good. So, Zath, one of the things that Boggsy and Ascans talked about when they were kind of prevaricating, getting ready for the match, right? That there's not really an established meta on this version of Hotspot. And I agree with them. It's one of the reasons that we've seen so many teams banning Hotspot. But I look at what KSC just did, and I think, man, have these guys, this is obviously working for them. What part of that strategy, looking back at that game, what part of that strategy do you think worked best?
Definitely the Death Snails. Employing the gearings to go in to smoke up the 2 radar cruisers in each, and then the gearings to pop out to spot. Clearly, they had practiced that. Clearly, they kind of said, what do we do if this happens? What do we do if that happens? Chat's realizing, wait a minute, there's a Kurfürst in here. I don't know that I felt like Daster could have been in any battleship. It wouldn't have mattered because of how strong the Death Snails were. That's not that's not detracting from what Daster did. I'm just simply saying, like, I was hoping to see more of the Kurfürst.
Fair enough. We don't normally see a Kurfürst in this kind of game, in King of the Sea at all, right? And so, like you pointed out, everybody's like, "Ooh, Kurfürst," but then, it doesn't feel like he had a tremendous impact on the match. This match was really won on the back of KSC's cruiser and destroyer coordination, which and their torpedoes, by the way, which were hugely impactful. So tons of fun to watch that match. All right, let's head back to the studio for a minute and see what these guys have got going on. Yeah.